The Unite The Light Lightworker Summit is reborn in 2025, May 17th to the 19th, reincarnating in Nashville, Tennessee, the capital of country music light. If you live to make the world a better place, we invite you to gather and co-create for 2 days. Day 1, meet curated, heartfelt influencers sharing strategies and innovation. Day 2 calls for conscious conversations. Lightworker power panelists discuss industry urgent topics. And for the first time, you requested, we co-created a third day, a 36-hour, ultra-private, closed-door Whisper Summit. We call it Afterglow, where 2 or more gather, featuring high-wattage leaders of light who share unpublished career advice and trade secrets. It all takes place in the luxurious Gaylord Opryland Hotel, where you may enjoy a full spa, poolside drinks, and tasty dining. And don't miss our Honky Tonk Sumper and Step Networking event happening Saturday night. Wear cowboy attire, feast, and learn astro secrets about you and cosmic allies. Consider this an invitation. Let us celebrate our ascension at the brightest gathering of love in the world. Ticket sales are open now at unitethelight.love. That's unitethelight.love. Welcome, folks. You are at Unite the Light. This is our countdown to Unite the Light, and we're now at 15 days and counting, just over 2 weeks until the brightest light workers that I know will be assembling in a place called Nashville, Tennessee. Perhaps you've heard it. And energetically, a great creative spot. You know, I find it interesting. The locations are always chosen by my guides and other people's psychics on the team. They also kind of chime in and feel if it's right. And unanimously, we felt called to this part of this country. I feel like there's a great creative spark there. A lot of people, Baptists and otherwise, who are there with God every day of the week, and a lot of energy about being something creative with a K, out of the box. So you get a good environment, you get good people, you have yourself a good event. Today we'll be introducing someone on one of our panels, but first let's talk about what that panel is. On the third day, or the second day, excuse me, I'm already expanding. On the second day, Sunday, which is the day when the sun conjoins Uranus, by the way, strategically planned that way, the very final moment we have with you as the audience is this panel, the Conscious Capitalism panel. And we end the show with this because we want to leave you dreaming about what's possible. And this year, we're focusing on being the change. So we have 4 examples here who are being the change, who are themselves pushing the envelope and in different ways. And we can go through them real quickly, but we had already on Erica, who has written a book about soul capitalism, basically telling you how to do it. And what the approach is. So she's coming on to talk about that. She's had, we look at our social media, you can see the interview I had with her if you want to get to know her a little bit better before the show, but bring the context of like, well, how do we do it? How do I do it? And kind of a how-to guide, right? We also have on this panel, myself, I'll say, and that's because I'll be talking about how we have created something called Ad Intuitive, which is an advertising agency for light workers, but also an advertising agency that targets spirit versus demographic. So rather than demographics, we have archetypes. We have other conscious, high vibration ways we go after a client and matching them with a product or service. So we'll be talking about that in great detail as well. Then we have from Australia, a good friend of Serious Joy. Her name is Bree, and I don't know if she's up here with this thing. Do we have that? No. There's Bree McLennan. Excellent. Now, Bree is brilliant in the sense that, A, she watches Serious Joy. She's a longtime viewer and friend in Australia. But she also has been watching the scope of AI. She's got her master's in AI. She works for the government of Australia. She's a watchdog for certain things in Australia. She understands data, large amounts of data. And the point is like, where's the conscious ethics of AI? Where are we at risk at with AI? What can we take advantage of with AI? Bree McLennan is the person we want to talk to about that. So again, it's kind of giving you some light in that capacity, and talking about as being the light, being the change that you want to see. Then lastly, we have a person who does coaching. Her name is Lisa Brazelton. Now she was at Unite the Light last year. So look at this. She attended, and she bought advertising with us, and she has come now to speak on what she does. So pretty amazing. We're finding each other from these events, and we are promoting each other as promised and necessary. She's a consciousness architect, basically. She strategizes and coaches leadership mostly. So she goes into the stuffy, blue chip business that has been wearing, still wearing IBM blue, and starts to talk about these concepts of enlightenment and emotional intelligence, EQ, and organizing your culture. So, a culture based on, creating the culture of your company that puts out the culture of your brand, the culture of all your marketing, all that and above. So she's also a panelist as well. And now to all this, put together, it's going to take really sort of a lion's, a lion's tamer, all right? So, and that's Daiki Okamoto, tonight's guest. Daiki is joining us. He's a step astrologer. at Serious Joy. He practices step astrology system with us. He's on his own programming. He does stuff for us in front of the camera, and he's got his own very popular brand growing every day, Do Astrology. He is going to be our moderator, and we felt like to have this many stars in a room, you need one more star to hold them together, and that's Daiki Okamoto. And we feel like he's perfect because he has a blend. We'll talk about it. Let's bring on the camera and talk about him. But do we have a promo first, or do we just go straight to it? Hi, Mr. Okamoto. How are you, sir?
Hi, Chris. How's it going?
It's going great, man.
Yeah,
Much better. I'm liking
yeah.
Taurus much better. Are you?
No, it's not my favorite sign to be in.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all fake smiles with me. Is that what it
I'm
is?
waiting for my birthday.
Yes, you'll be here. Yeah, we'll wait for your
But
birthday. Well, me than you. It'll be
yeah.
here. So first of all, thanks for coming, man, and tell us a little bit about your blend. I think you're an interesting blend of a person. You're an interesting cat. In typical Gemini form, you got like you got the yin and the yang both kind of in your approach. I would say the
Mhm.
yang is sort of what you studied in college and what you have degrees in. So tell us that first because that's interesting that you even go down that path.
Yeah, I mean, since I was in high school, I've always studied chemistry. So I was always interested in the makeup of what the world, the material world when it comes to atoms and, figuring out quantum and figuring out just what is the world made out of. But when I've got to such a point, I realized how much emotions, right, our energies and human energies also is part of the recipe into what we create. So that's when a lot of my worlds merged together where I started putting my spirituality and astrology and a lot of my scientific knowledge together to understand how energy and dynamics and healing works through stars and people.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, genius. And so literally sort of a photonics. I mean, give me the title, bro. What is it?
Oh, for what? For my
Yeah, you had a master's in
Well,
what?
my master's is in nanochemistry, and my study has been focused on artificial photosynthesis, so trying to make more green energy through sunlight. And it's kind of symbolically similar in the sense that I practice step astrology and serious joy through you, is that we understand that the sun is the center of our energy, right? So on my, going to my past life and all that kind of stuff, my science was something that focused on energetic sources through the sun and transferring that through phonon converting materials, making CO2 waste in the air into oxygen that we can breathe. Though that's not the path that I decided to take on and take as a career, I've stepped into being an astrologer, and I am actually pursuing to become a classical Chinese medicine doctor. So that's actually the switch and the merge, and my big journey as well. So I'm really interested in connecting everybody that has great backgrounds in like masters in AI, a book writer like Erica, all these people, and trying to get some juicy information so people in the audience and people watching can get some enlightenment, right? Like
Yeah, put the pieces together, and this would be different. Our panels are pretty much directed in the sense that it's like a presidential debate where you're going to be the moderator and you're going to actually be calling the shots and when things ask and when things don't. And there won't be time
amazing.
limits, but we will expect you to get it moving. But in that regard, like a real opportunity for you with your own curiosity. I mean, I think your curiosity alone makes it interesting just by the way your brain works. The kind
Mhm.
of questions you're like these hybrided questions, which is where we're
Yeah.
going. It's like a hybrided world. I mean, I think you are the future in the sense of, I always joke science is the study of magic. Like
Mhm.
to me,
Yeah.
they work together, and
It does.
so
It does.
yeah, you have to understand how it all plays out and what happens chemically and medically and everything.
Mhm.
So pretty fascinating stuff. Let's go to conscious capitalism, though.
Yeah.
You were at Unite the Light last year, right? So you were the debut year. I mean, what was your just impression, first of all, as a layman?
Oh, I mean, just being able to meet everybody that was just so uh, high vibe is such a cliche word, but everybody who is so self-aware, trying to use their gifts into, not just their self-improvement, but making it into an earning, because that's the system that we live in. And we're trying to make exchanges, right? Back in the day, let's say, if I was a medicine doctor, like the village took care of me, but that's just not how the world works right now. And the way we exchange is, you know, for better or for worse, it is through money. So how do we connect, our gifts and value them in a certain way that we can all exchange and understand and live by, is a huge, issue or just a theme that I'm always going through being an astrologer and all that. And it's great to see other people who are trying to merge these two worlds in themselves and share it, because I've always been struggling with that. And just to meet people who are at that level, who are kind of thinking the same things that you're thinking, who are perceiving the world in the same way, it just amplifies that power. It is two waves coming together. And just creating the magic. So I'm so excited again to come to Unite the Light, meet you again, Christopher, meet everybody who I met last year who's always happy to see me again. And then just the new people that I've been connecting through the internet. And it's all, last year I was only working for you for 2 months in. So people didn't know me showing up at Unite the Light. But I know this year I put my face and my voice out here much more often. So I'm excited to, meet those people who I've gotten to help, really.
Yeah, totally. You're fans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whew.
Well, the energy is such an important thing. You have an energy that's very inviting and warm, and we do weeklies together on Instagram, but it's more your show now, which is the yeah, well, no, by design. I'm saying that
Yeah, we're waiting for you though. We're waiting for you to be back.
yeah, definitely come back, but it's Astromechanics. It's every Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, right? 2 o'clock Pacific.
Yep.
Where you're on camera, you're bringing people on, you're talking to people. It's like, so this is kind of where the soul work is. What do you think from a conscious capitalism perspective, like this panel? How do you see conscious capitalism? How do you define it? And what do you hope to walk away with?
That's a hard question.
I didn't say it'd be
I
easy.
mean, yeah, I mean, the 3D side of me is just like, how do I make more money?
Right?
But how
Sure.
do I do that ethically? And just astrology and spirituality has always had a bad rap, also because it is a difficult subject. That how do you discern, the value of something, the truth of something, and the efficiency of that reading? How do you value that? So those are some really good questions that we can ask. And it's really important that we all come together and compare our notes, and even clients are able to compare their notes, that they're not always so trusting of one person and just, paying whatever they say, and just making sure that you have a good comparison, a good taste palette. And I think Unite the Light is a great place for people to come together, share our gifts, share our businesses, and trade notes and discuss on the panel.
Yeah, totally. And trade notes
Yeah,
is it.
it's
We were talking about in a former video, but the buzz there, the high there, the happiness there is legit. The
mhm,
only thing I can recall it to is like going to Disneyland when I was a kid. I was like, Disneyland! It's like, it's sort of like
mhm,
just this the child inside of you is this kind of screaming happy, wanting to do stuff. But I was also very grounded. And a lot of people, and my creativity went up. Like in the presence of all that energy, I was having all sorts of downloads, all sorts of new ideas. And I couldn't write them down fast enough because I was talking to people. And a lot of people describe, I mean, people have ideas. They had ideas there. They're now presenting them this year here
mhm,
in
mhm.
1 year's time, created, made it, and now they're presenting. So it's like that kind of snowball too is
Yeah.
super exciting to me. Like to create a place where like a TED talk in the sense of, look what he just did. Now look what she just did. Can you imagine? Look what that person did. Just like accelerating that. Same energy I felt like we had last time the sun was conjunct Uranus in World War II. When Uranus was that high up in this Taurus sectum, that was a time when like jet planes, nuclear bomb, microwave, television, like all the
Technology.
appliances that we use now came during that same creative period as the sun conjuncting Uranus, which will be on Sunday when we meet.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a powerful time. And I think not just the inner, but even being able to connect with some of these people and being able to work with them
Yeah.
is like physically on the physical level and the energetic level, such a expensive investing time. It's Taurus season. So it's a
Yes.
it's a magical timing and place that, we have chosen.
Yes.
So it's there. All we got to
It is.
do is just show up and show it.
Yeah, and with this panel, this is the closing act of the show,
Mhm.
because ultimately, we have a phrase at Unite the Light, and it's conscious capitalism. And the idea there is that capitalism has up until now been unconscious. Like, ooh, I didn't know that killed babies. Ooh, I didn't know. Oops, oops. It's like a whoops-based economy where sorry, we made our money. You're all laid off. It's like just sort of cold, calculated. Just cold. It's cold right now. It's cold, cold, cold. It only plays to like one thing: the shareholders. and the shareholders, in the New York stock market, in the market. It's not even the people in the company or how the company's been dealing. They're just playing in shares, like so far removed from actual capitalism, so far removed from actually caring about the customer, so clueless about caring for the customer, really only following formulas that turn into big turnarounds, but not any quality growth. So we're in this moment of capitalism where it's gotten ugly in the way it's been used and abused as a weapon. It's been used in warfare, even literally cutting off the banks and all that stuff. And so we feel like it's time to put consciousness into this, like put a soul in capitalism, and what does that mean? What does that look like? What are your feelings about those things?
Yeah, no, I think when capitalism came about as a culture and philosophy back in the day, it was more innocent. It was an innocent drive that people had this upward mobility and not greed, but this drive and pure desire, innocent
Mm,
desire, let's say. But now, as time has gone on and even technological advances, we've kind of started to exploit it in a much worse way. We're just rich for rich sake, and it's not really true prosperity. And I think when
right.
we talk about conscious capitalism and soul capitalism, and it dives into the WeGo concept that you talk about, it is not just me that's going to be prosperous and abundant, but my prosperity and abundance is going to just overflow and just equally be shared, like an entanglement that we're all
Yes.
going to this together rather than just one person. Some of these billionaires out there, just one person going up, you know,
And
it's
pulling the ladder up
not
after them.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. And then pulling up the ladder. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think those are based on, honestly, like Rockefeller. It's
Yeah, I know
based,
you always bring him up.
it's hard to say that word. You
Yeah.
study about it, just like who got all this, amassed all this wealth and turned around and started just destroying things that were organically based, and rewriting the codes of medicine and rewriting the codes of of education. It's just like, whoa,
All for
we
greed's
had
sake.
some, took capitalism and made themselves king. They say God, as much as possible. So I feel like that's a point right there. It's like, if nothing else, there needs to be an alternative use of capitalism for good, and an example of it. And it's not just giving money away, because that doesn't do anything. The person just spends it and it's gone. It's like a thrill of winning at the casino. It's over. That's not an investment in human soul.
Mhm.
So the idea that if we can fuse our business to include the laws of God, to include the potential of personal realization and things like that, then we can actually harness the power of capitalism to enlighten and ascend.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's the idea. And so we're building on it. This year's example are people who are actually doing it, not talking about it.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think it's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've heard you talk about some concepts that I really like, where I know it is a touchy subject for the spiritual community when we talk about capitalism and money, but I think a good thing that you have said is that money is also an energy source, and that having money or not having money, like there's karma around that too, right? There's purpose and soul and karma around you having not money or you having money. So those are some really hot topics, I think, that we can all talk about. But I think some of these panelists might have some really cool insight that we can bring up to discussion.
That's a brilliant idea. Let's make that a topic, because I've recently got kickback where someone accused
No.
of you're like, you're just spiritually profiteering or something. I was like, what? First of all, I'm losing money. Like, it's all been all heartfelt investment, but the idea that it's sort of a pandering of spirituality, that we fall into that market, and to see it that way, to see any kind of financial success is bad. What I was told in heaven is, look, if you don't know how to build a big sandcastle, you're not going to the next planet, because the next planet has you needing even more abundance in energy, even more. It has to do with your ability to manage abundance of energy.
Mhm.
And so if you have to learn on Earth how to manage abundance of energy, this game of money is just like a little counting game we use, like Monopoly. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't go with you. It's not even real. It's a piece of paper that's actually a digital byte. So at the end of the day, it's this imaginary system that we actually have practice of manifesting in abundance.
Mhm.
And so if you want to be above the Earth, you've got to manifest as big or greater than her gravity.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're not going to do that playing the poor game and thinking that poor is righteous,
Mhm.
because it's not. I think that was a game that the church played that game so they would stay and hoard the wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. That humble, what is it? Humble modesty?
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I
or
would.
yeah.
I
Or
know
not
nothing about.
humble, not humble modesty. Is a fake modesty.
Oh yeah, and
Right.
also yeah. So I feel like we're meant to make. I in my chart is like the last thing to do. My chart's like, well, I'd love to get you off this Earth thing and ascend, but you haven't made your own money yet. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, and Pluto the second. I haven't cared about any lifetime. But
Mhm.
now I think it's holding me back.
Mhm.
So I'm not protecting my story and everyone else. I'm sharing, hey, we manifest here. That's what's special about human beings. We make things out of nothing. We're like in God's school. And so we should never be ashamed of how much results we get from our magic. You know, I just think share it when you die, personally. That's the
Yeah.
thing. These are the type of topics that no one talks about that we'll have here at this summit, and I'm really excited for you to be driving the show, so I can stay quiet and do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll pick on you.
please do, please do. No, it'll be fine.
Well, I mean, you've been running, Serious Joy for a long time now. You've been your own, Christopher Witecki brand, and before that, you've had your Soul Garden as well. So, you being a spiritual business owner, I'm sure you have a lot to say. Some of these people, aren't. I don't know if they are, but some of them might not have had the experience that you've had, right? The large scale that you've built. So, I think you have a lot to share with all of us as well, being a
Love to share.
forefather.
Thank you. Yeah, and also meet other people who are doing the same thing. I mean, we've been so in such silos of development. I'd love to get out there and tell you I'm doing the lab. Because I've been in there like a mad scientist for a long time. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's hard to see. It's funny how you grow fast. You grow old fast, Daiki. It's like I was
Stop.
like a kid trying to make it happen, and now I'm like the guy who's been, who's the, the authority, or at least the one who can be looked at as an elder. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, really, shit. So yeah, it's great. It's gonna be a fun time, and always have fun with you, dude. Your happiness, your step one is so clear.
Yeah, I'm excited to eat the Nashville food, Nashville music.
Mm,
Yeah,
hmm.
check out the hotel, hug everybody.
Yeah. And meet Daiki. You guys get your
Yeah.
autograph and your selfie with him. He'll be there. And we'll all be there. And if
Yep.
you aren't yet, buy your tickets. We're 15 days away. You can get a discount, a heavy discount, if you sign up for Serious Joy. Well, as soon as you sign up, we'll give you access to those codes. So you pay $4 to get 41 off. That's worth it. Don't do the math. It doesn't take mathematics to tell you that. But if not, come on, pay the regular price. We're at unitethelight.love, unitethelight.love. If you can't be there in person, please come through the video stream. We're going to have a community online in a Zoom room talking the whole time. So you'll be meeting people just like we are on the ground in the cloud, and meeting other people who enjoy things like you. So this is a multi-dimensional event.
Mhm. Yeah, share social medias, connect with people. Like we got a network.
We do, and that's actually a perfect note. I'm going to put out, I think, a special video where, I've been so like Unite the Light happy, but I haven't really told you guys. You guys, we got a shitstorm coming. We have a storm coming in. We have a storm coming in, seriously. And part of this is because I'm trying to keep it light, but we have to come together now, or we're going to be in trouble. I don't mean trouble in the sense of all of us together, but trouble in the sense of we would have wished we had some help and had known people ahead of time and had people we could call when things get a little rubbly. Like, well, what are you doing with this? And what are you doing about that? If I'd known each other like during COVID, and I could have said, how are you guys marketing right now? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you picking up on? That connection, that special connection is what Unite the Light's about. Like, we each have superpowers and we need to share them and we need to be there for each other. So we can rise above it. This is our calling card. This moment is what we came to be here for. And I tell you, I always joke, like the evil guys are all meeting secretly on an island. Why? Have we met? Do you think we should maybe meet? You know what I mean? Like, geez.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, anyways, we'll be back on the air, I think, in 24 hours. I don't know. Probably Monday, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll check the books. Either way, check out all of our social media, folks. Come to unitethelight.love, unitethelight.love. Come be a part of it. And if you can't be there in person, great. If you can't, watch us, and we'll talk to you online. Daiki, thanks for being here today.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you all next week. We love you.
Bye, guys.